Welcome to Cinemophile, where we bring you the best in independent, documentary, and foreign films, and we talk to the people who made them. I'm your host, Mike Caspar, and you can find out more about the program by going to cinemaphilepod.com. Celebrated artist James Grashow is given the biggest commission of his life and begins an exhilarating challenge that brings more than he bargained for. With a combination of enduring humor and angst, Jimmy searches for the meaning of his extraordinary masterpiece. The film is called Jimmy and the Demons. We're fortunate and honored to have with us again on the program director Cindy Meehl. Cindy, welcome back to, well, now it's Cinemophile. So the last time you were on was a different program, but welcome to Cinemophile, Cindy.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's terrific, terrific film. Getting to know Jimmy Glashow is what a gift, and so much about this film is about a sense of community, a sense of love, committed to what he does, and has been doing his entire life. One of the fortunate ones who realized what he wanted to be when he grew up pretty early in life, it seems. How did you get to know Jimmy Glashow?
I first met Jimmy just when I was going, a friend of mine invited me over. She knew that I love art, and she invited me over to just do a studio visit. And she's like, "You should meet this artist. He's amazing, and you would love his studio," which it's true. It's just walking into Oz, you know.
Yeah. Well, how would you describe his art before we get too far into this? Because it's fantasy-based art. Is that a good way to put it, or how would you say?
You know, he would not like it to be called fantasy-based art. I think it's that's a great question as far as how would you describe it. I do think of it personally as very whimsical. I love like these
Whimsical.
monkeys with cardboard and
There you
huge
go.
eyes staring at you. But but for him, everything has a deeper meaning. I think
Yeah.
that partly his whole obsession with mortality. He sees everything. Like even the fact that he would make all these, I mean, tons of sculptures in cardboard. There's some kind of fleeting idea of cardboard being, as he would say, dust in the wind. Um, it's extremely intricate. He could spend 4 years making a huge fountain out of cardboard, but at the same time, he wanted it to represent the fact that it's nothing is permanent, and everything has some levity, but it also has there's a thin veil of mortality with everything. So, but then he also did 30 years of New York Times illustrations for with woodcuts, just unbelievably detailed woodcuts that a lot of people I'm sure have seen, even though they may not have known it. Album covers for Jethro Tull and beyond. So, yeah, he's pretty remarkable.
As a matter of fact, in my younger days, that was one of the very first albums I ever bought as a young man was with stand up. Because when you opened it up,
Stan.
not only did you have the woodwork on the cover, but when you open it up, it was a pop-up of the band. It
Yeah.
was a double album, or not a double album, but it would open up like a double album, and it would pop up. So it was stand up was the whole. It was and one of my all-time favorite records, just coincidentally. So yeah.
Yeah, and you know that this is really fantastic that we let them know that there's this scene about him making that album cover. We let the Jethro Tull team, and they just posted about the movie coming out and showed the clip from, and for Jethro Tull fans. So we've had this whole new influx of Jimmy fans from that album cover. It's so funny that you said that was the first one you bought. I
It is
love it.
practically speaking. There were a few others maybe in front of it, but not many albums before I bought that one. And of course, and I'm holding it up for people who can't see, it's the 11 Fingers, which I never noticed before. I never heard that kind of folkloric take on it, but yeah. Well, that's a sidetrack. I got off on a little bit of a
Sorry.
tangent there, but it's just his work is beautiful. It is. I love whimsical. I think that's a great way to put it, and it reflects him in this in because there's a sense of well love. That's the film. The film is about the love of what he does, the love of his family, the love of his wife, because he so much here and. like you did in Buck, you capture this humanity of these people so effectively. Was it difficult to get into this inner circle with him? I probably wasn't, it feels like, but how did you manage to be there and capture how he really seems to be as a person? It's a
Well,
gift.
I can definitely promise you what. I mean, here again, I had known him for years,
Yeah.
and we were, me and my husband were good friends with him and Guzzy, but I didn't know this side of his life, and there was a lot of anxiety thinking, oh my God, these are people I really like, and now I'm going to be kind of, lifting up the veil to try to, really going into an intimate place, which you have to do with the documentary, and you have to have that trust. So already we had the trust, but I needed to make sure that I wasn't going to wreck a friendship by suddenly asking personal questions. And I was just delighted after 2 days. I couldn't get over how he was exactly the same on camera as the person I knew. However, I got to ask questions that you don't normally ask. People you don't
Yeah.
sit around and ask them deep questions. And he never skipped a beat. He always knew what he thought. And going back to the love relationship, the romantic relationship between him and Guzzy, I didn't even see that coming. I mean, I guess I knew them and I thought it was so charming, their relationship. But so many people come out of the theater and they say, this is a love story.
Yeah.
That even before it's an art story, people say it's a love story. And I was like, what? I didn't expect that. But I love what people are coming away from and not, people think it's a biopic of an artist and everyone says, but it's way more than that. And it's not what I thought. It's not some boring biopic that, just is like a news doc. This is not that. This is a
Mhm.
movie about an artist and a very special human being.
Just to remind our listeners that it's Jimmy and the Demons is the name of the film. It's playing across the country. There are a number of venues it's going to be playing at. And here in Los Angeles, I believe April 24th at the Lemley Royal. It'll be opening here in Los Angeles. It's also playing at, which is unusual, it's playing at the Santa Barbara Film Festival around that time as well. And
Yeah.
it's rare that a film opens in a theater and then plays at a film festival, but looking at the list that I saw for that festival, it seems that that's kind of a normal part of the programming there. So I'm encouraging people who are hearing our conversation in Santa Barbara and beyond. It's playing all over the country, but that's unusual, an unusual rollout for a film.
Well, they knew that I was going to be coming out to LA because we are going to do some Q&As and I was thrilled when they said that it was going to be in Santa Barbara because I have a very good friend named Andre Eastman who is up in Santa Barbara and she's in the film business too, or she certainly was. So I get to go visit her and go to the film festival. So come on out, we need to get people and also people can just ask their theaters. That's what we did with Buck. Buck played in over 600 theaters. And it's a lot because people would just call up and go, oh, this sounds like a good film. I really want to see it. Can you book it? And then they would. IFC was just couldn't believe how many little towns were booking
Yeah.
Buck. So I feel like the same could happen with Jimmy and the Demons because it's a feel-good film. And, people walk away with so much
Yeah.
when they see the film. It's been really rewarding for me.
Well, again, going back to what we were talking about before in terms of just the love that we see, the love of his work, the fact that he found what he wanted to do so early in his life, I was insanely jealous to hear that because I've wandered many a path. And so to see somebody who knows that that's what they want to do and becomes so enamored with it, continues to bring joy to himself by doing what he's been doing. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And also, what I really didn't know anything about, from knowing him, is that he was this amazing teacher. And I've actually met some of his students. I have seen students at film festivals that have traveled, 100 miles to come see the film because they heard about it. But apparently, he was the class to be in. And I've seen footage where you realize there's never been a more creative teacher and just the stories, which of course we can't get it all in the film, but they would come in and he'd like, we're building a train car today, or, a train, lots of train cars, and you could go in it and sit down. And I don't even know. It was amazing the different types of things he would do in the class, and just like his head was being exploding ideas all the time.
One of my favorite scenes in the film is when they construct all these instruments and then they put on a show with all of
Mhm.
these different iterations of guitars and trumpets and all kinds of stuff. Really fun and really fun to watch the students as they're sort of learning how to do what he does. And I think we need math and science, of course. But
Yeah.
when you introduce art into somebody's life in a way that makes it accessible and something that they can do, I think that's an immeasurable impact on someone's life.
So much, and the fact that they're taking it out of some schools, there's studies that prove, how important it is to have creative arts in school mentally.
Yeah.
It's a really great thing for kids mentally, and you could see with Jimmy, he needed that.
Yeah.
Thank God that it was in schools, in our generation.
Yeah. Well, and there's a central piece that he's been working on for quite some time in the film that's sort of the through line for his story. And I love
Mhm.
that he's Jewish and the art piece is about Jesus carrying a cathedral. But as he says, Jesus was a Jew, which is, yes, he was. And so it's fun to watch that play out
Yeah.
and also to see it. And I feel like it sort of brings his family into the conversations that he's having about it, his son, his daughters, all the things that bring this enveloping sense of love that he carries with him, in addition to his relationship with Guzzi and there's so much. I can't imagine. I'm sure that you're getting amazing feedback on this film, Cindy. I mean, I can't imagine you're not. So hope it's been rewarding for you.
It's so rewarding. And it does remind me, I mean, it's funny that Toby, the same editor for Buck, did it because it's the same type of feedback of, you think it's an art movie, but it's so much more. And you think it's a horse movie, but it's so much more. There's so many layers to this film, and I think people will find a part of themselves that they didn't even expect
Yeah.
when they watch it, because he reflects so much, and he feeds your soul in a way that I really I've really been overjoyed to hear what people say about it and what they've written to me about this film and how much it's meant to them,
I
whether
would
you
say,
knew him or not.
yeah, where do you know I'm not exactly. And I think the through line between Buck and Jimmy is that um, Buck was dealing with trauma. He dealt with it. He channeled it into something that was life affirming.
Hmm.
With Jimmy, he has maintained his sense of joy about living, about continuing to kind of push himself to do the things that he loves to do and in the most fulfilling kinds of ways. And he's brought so many people along with him on that journey. And I think that's what Buck has ended up being, is somebody who did that too.
Yeah, yeah, just giving and giving people so much.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. It really truly, it's just a great watch for so many reasons. And it has been entered into so many different film festivals where it's done well, award winning. Again, must have been satisfying to sit in an audience with festival goers who are really probably a pretty tough audience in some ways. They've seen a lot of films generally, and to get the reception that you're getting, which is so well deserved, Cindy. So congrats.
Thank you. The best thing for me is sitting in a theater and hearing how hard people laugh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of laughter when
Yes,
you're
there is.
with an audience. And I mean, you don't have to be with an audience, but still,
Yeah.
it's been very rewarding that he's seems to be as funny to other people as he is when I'm around him.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
He is a funny guy and he's self-reflective and yeah, it's contagious. His enthusiasm for what he does is contagious and his yeah, sense of life, his
Yeah.
understanding. The understanding as we see in the movie, he's now up in age and there are things that are going on and that he recognizes and he's fully aware and he's addressing them. And between him and his wife, they're a great team. So there's that. There's always that too in this film to watch them together. Congrats. Again, Jimmy and the Demons. It is opening at the Quad Cinema on April 3rd in New York City. So if you happen to be hearing our conversation there and be looking for it, you can go to, I have the website right here in front of me. It is,
jimmyandthedemons.com.
okay.
And if you follow us on Facebook, just we're going to be sharing scenes that aren't in the movie. So follow us and share that. That's the best way to get the word out is Instagram, Facebook. Follow it, share it, spread the joy.
Yeah, and one last thing, in my never-ending love of what you do, you have been an executive producer on so many good films, Natchez, Suzanne Herbert's film Fashion Reimagined, The River and the Wall, For the Birds, Trapped, Unbranded, and many others. You continue to advocate and to tutor and mentor others who are interested in pursuing this as a life, and I thank you for that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. No, it's very rewarding to work with other filmmakers too and make things happen.
Cindy Meehl, thank you again, and thank you for being here on Cinemaphile.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me, Mike. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. You have been listening to Cinemaphile with Mike Kaspar, the place where you will hear from the best in independent documentary and foreign filmmakers. Please check out our previous interviews as well as upcoming interviews and special programming by going to cinemaphilepod.com. We are also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, searchable under Cinemaphile with Mike Kaspar. Until next time, thank you for listening.